Hello, this is Annette from Antoinette Elisabeth. Today I'm going to give you another step of the 10 simple steps to leave stress and anxiety behind. I said simple, that doesn't mean they're easy. And today we're going to talk about step 3, which is fear. What is fear? Fear is something that we need for us to stay cautious and to not make wrong decisions. Like if we're hiking, that we make sure we don't fall off a cliff. Or if we're spending money, that we don't gamble it all away so we don't have money to live off. So there is a fear that keeps us in balance that we need. But sometimes when fear gets overused, if it's too much in our system, we actually are creating fear, and it's more or less an illusion. It's projecting something. It's having an image of the future that we don't really know, but it's a negative image. What fear does is it brings an emotion in the body and in your nervous system, and it radiates out, and it almost feels like a tiger could be chasing us, while we really only have to go for a job interview. It makes us nervous, it makes us not know what to do, and it's a fear. Sometimes it's accurate, but sometimes it's over the top. It's not really necessary to have an intense fear. Of course you can overcome fears, because the fear is created within your own mind. What is fearful for you could be peanuts to someone else. What is fearful for someone else could be something you don't think twice about. So fear is within you. Accepting that this is the truth, that the fear is within you, that means that you have awareness and that you can find it, and that means that you can actually change it. The fear is an illusion, a thought, an image in your mind about something that can happen in the future. It is actually wasting of time, because we can't look in the future. The only time we have is right now. So if we right now are thinking of scary things that might happen in the future, we're taking important time away of our today, of our right now moment, which means we're less productive, we're not really enjoying the moment, and that can cause like not finishing your to-dos, and that can cause a nervous or a stress or an anxiety moment. So it's really important to realize if the fear is important and necessary, or if it is not necessary and you're predicting the future that is not really, possible, that is possibly not going to happen. So you might just waste time on fearful thoughts, and a lot of times people repeat it. So we're living in that same scary thought, that fearful thought, week in, week out, day in, day out, and it's just on a repeat. It has no benefit at all. And then so many months later, there's another movie and there's another scary movie. But in reality, if we can bring it back to living where we are to live right now, in this moment, there is no fear. I'm sitting here on a chair. There is nothing to be afraid of, So for you, it's the same thing. You're watching this video. There's nothing to be afraid of right now. That doesn't mean that something might not happen tomorrow. But why do you want to waste time of your day, take time off your day now, to think about something scary that might happen tomorrow? Just let it unfold. Well, fear is very good to have, because it brings an alertness, adrenaline, and in taking action in moments when perhaps a car is almost about to hit us, or with other situations that we can jump out of the way. Then it's necessary to have the fear, because it brings you that little boost of energy to make a quick decision and take quick actions. So fear is not per se bad. It's when you live in the fear, that is when it's draining. When you constantly live in fear, you're constantly creating a chemical in your body, and the chemical in your body might cause, over time, disease, which is really not what we want. So if you have a fearful moment, shake it off, do something to relax, whatever that is, what works for you, and try to not live in a constant fear for long periods of time, because it does send something to your nervous system, and it goes all around in your body, and it creates issues, and we don't know what it is because it's in your body. So try to have the real long-term fearful moments. Try to have them at minimum. Try to have them not at all, but if you have them, try to have them at minimum, and be aware when you do it, because when you have awareness that you do it, you can tell yourself, I'm doing this again, let me change this. And then you make the decision that you're going to change this, that you're going to change the thinking of negative thoughts, the thinking of fearful moments in the future. You can't predict the future. You can only live in the now. So what can you do to reduce that feeling of fear? If you know it's not necessary, what can you do when it's in your way? Ask a few simple questions, and I wrote them down here. Is this feeling of fear necessary? Ask yourself, is it necessary? Do I benefit from it right now? Does it bring me to something that I want right now? Or can I put this feeling later on my calendar and work on it maybe this evening or tomorrow morning or 3 or 4 days from now? Try to extend it, because you don't really want to live in the fear. Try to put it on the calendar a few days later. Is this feeling pulling me closer to my ideal life? And I'll explain it in a minute. Or is it pushing me away from it? Then what can I do to break through this uncomfortable feeling, which is really important? Can you overcome fear? Absolutely. Absolutely. The power is in your mind. Whatever you put in it, you can redirect, you can change, and you can put something else in there. Fear is a negative thought about what possibly might happen in the future. It's not certain. It's not set in stone. So therefore, I believe that a lot of times predicting fearful moments in the future is a waste of time. Instead, it's better to live in the now. So my question to you is, are you able to flip your fear into faith? Faith is also an illusion, also something about thinking about something in the future, but it is positive. So fear is negative, destructive, and stressful. Faith is positive, promising, and calm and easy. And if you could choose, what would you choose? Would you choose fear over faith? Keep this in mind. And this is a decision that you can make every single time when fear comes up. Do I want this? Or do I trust that it can go get better? Do I want this or do I not want this? Do I want this or do I prefer to live in a neutral space? You have that choice every single time when fear comes up. You deserve an amazing life. Really. And you decide that you want an amazing life, and everything that you want is possible. Really. Is it easy? Probably not, but you can do it. Decide that you have no longer fear for certain situations. Decide that you can manage the moment. And decide that you can avoid, if you know something is fearful for you, avoid it for a while. Become neutral with it. You don't have to go to places that make you nervous and uncomfortable and fearful. If it's a job interview, you probably have to get through it. But if it's visiting a person that makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to. It's your life. You can decide to leave that person alone for a little while and pick it up later when you're more confident and comfortable with the situation. Simply said, life is so much better without fear. If you have a fear of public speaking or for a new career, or when you are evolving and growing to become this better, bigger, more specific person that you want to be, you want to leave your old behind and you're stepping into a new part of your life, that might be a little fearful. But those are things that you can overcome. Those are stepping stones, building blocks, or however you want to call it. And you can do it. I know you probably ride a bicycle, and when you go for the first time on your bicycle without the training wheels, that was probably a pretty fearful thought. Or you drive your parents' car for the first time after you passed the test. That was responsibility right there, because now you're part of traffic with somebody else's vehicle. You know, it's pressure. But do you feel fearful, or do you see it as excitement? Do you see it as adventure? You have that choice. You have the choice to choose fear or adventure, fear or excitement, fear or curiosity. You have that choice. Keep that in mind every time when fear comes up. Is it easy to break through fear? Not always. Nope. It's simple steps. You have to be making a decision, be committed, and then decide to take action steps. And I'm going to have them right here on a note, so I'm going to tell you. The action step, I have been telling myself for several decades now that I am fearless. Sometimes I'm afraid. Sometimes I am like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. But I tell myself I'm fearless. And when you tell yourself you're fearless, your confidence goes up. And you are willing to try new things. You become adventurous. You become curious. And you reach certain goals that you set for yourself. Tell yourself every day that you're fearless. Then do something you've never done before. Pick up a hobby. When you were a kid, pick it up again. Maybe it's going on a skateboard. or try to learn a different language in a class in front of others. Maybe take a computer class or a new sport like martial arts, something you might have never done before, something out of the ordinary. Stretch your imagination. Do something you've never done before, even if you just do it for a month or 2 months. It brings up some excitement in your mind, and it keeps you away from fear, because life becomes more adventurous and you become more curious. Push yourself to grow.